So let me guess. You're interested in cybersecurity, but in a sense, you don't know where to begin. I gave you a little blueprint of exactly what cybersecurity is, but I guess I failed you at describing how to exactly join that roadmap, I should say. What is the recipe for success? Hmm. What's the recipe for success that'll get you right for you to land your cybersecurity role? And I hear people say, oh, but HoldITDownJ, I don't have any experience inside cybersecurity. Can you please help? Or I don't have any certifications. I know what it is, but how do I land that? Well, that's what I'm here for. And I decided to make it more personable because we're in my kitchen right now, right? And we're going to get into it and everything. But before I begin, I'm going to need y'all to like, share, subscribe, and go ahead and comment because we're definitely going to talk about some really interesting career paths you could take. And I'm just going to be authentic as possible. There we go. All right. So let's say you're an actual high school student, you getting out, or even if you're in your 30s, 25, and you working at McDonald's or some type of career field and you looking to transfer into cybersecurity. This is exactly what I would do, okay? The first thing I would do, there's multiple ways of doing it, first of all. But let's say, oh, I want to join, but I don't have no experience. One of the ways you could do, I did it, just go to the military, man. I know it sounds crazy. You probably never even thought about it because with cybersecurity, it's like one of those things where you can join the military, get the career you want without having to worry about having previous experience. All you gotta do is make sure you pass a PT test, and you know what I mean, you'll do fine and whatever. The reason why I say that is because when you're starting off in cybersecurity, I'm not gonna tell you like it's easy. It's very challenging. You're gonna deal with a lot of challenges. It's gonna be a lot of rejections, regardless of what situation you go through. And also, you have to wonder, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that, because entry level ain't entry level like you think. They gonna want you to know some things. One thing I will say about the military is that if you go in for a cybersecurity role, within their training, after basic training, they'll literally put you inside like a training tech school based off cybersecurity if that's your role. And most likely you're going to get a certification like the Security Plus, which is a vendor neutral certification. And plus it's compliant with the government. So when you get out, you can even do government contract work and you already in the game. Okay. Now, another thing that you can do that route I did. Yes, I joined the military, but I want to be very clear. I didn't go in the military to do cybersecurity. I was a military cop. I was protecting assets, right? And I did a little bit of security at the gate shack. That's what I did. The reason why I did it, I joined the military, to be honest, I didn't want none of my parents, including myself, being in debt from college because college is way too expensive. I'm saying all I got to do is like, the way I thought about it is that you getting paid to stay in shape. Hell yeah, sign me up. And that's what I did. And as you can see, it worked out for me very well. That's one of the principles that I took from it. Now, when I was a cop, there was a lot of downtime, meaning you're providing security. So you're sitting around a lot of times unless something bad really happens. So what did I do on that gate shack? I had a book with me. I was always studying. It was one time when I was active duty and I was taking 6 classes at one time. Like, I'm not even over exaggerating. Doing my night shift and then I get off and I wouldn't even go to sleep. I'll go straight to Starbucks and I'm over here like finishing up my classes and all 6. And I didn't get my bachelor's degree at 2.5 years, but that was probably before I got my master's and everything. But anyways, that was like one of the things that I did and it was pretty cool. Looking back on it, because that was just a sign of, you know, me grinding, but also I didn't pay anything. Now there's different ways you can get them to pay for things inside the military, right? Especially the Air Force. I'm not too familiar with the Army and Navy, but I know everybody has something called the GI Bill, meaning it's something that the government has within the military that you're entitled to where they'll pay for your education. They have a Montgomery GI Bill and they always have a post 9/11 GI Bill. I had to post 9/11 GI Bill. I used that to pay for my housing and etc. when I will have my master's. Now for the bachelor's portion, while you're active duty, you don't have to use your GI Bill. You can use tuition assistance and they'll take care of that, and you don't even have to tap inside your GI Bill. So I waited until I got out the military and I used my GI Bill to pretty much pay for my housing, and it was paying for my master's at the same time. And I did it all debt free without actually using the education. Now, when I got in debt, that was based off me. It had nothing to do with the actual military. Take a little sip. This is fire. I'm telling you. That's one of the ways you can do. Like I said, the military is great. You get structure. And also, one thing that they don't tell you is that when you get out the military, a lot of companies, they'll hire a veteran over a typical civilian, because when they hire veterans, companies get a tax write-off. Yes, they get a tax write-off. So of course, they're going to have a veteran's preference to hire you over a typical civilian. So you're already a level up from that. Okay, now let's say, oh, I got this medical condition to where I can't join the military, they won't allow me. That's still fine, right? It might be a little bit more challenging, but it's still possible. What I will say is that I always encourage people to sign up for virtual labs, right? There's like different platforms like immersive labs. People say Udemy, but yes, they'll show the videos on how to do something, but I'm more of, I need virtual labs to get that hands-on knowledge. Now, if you're doing something with like compliance that's not as technical, that's fine. You can do that as well. That's where it comes into play, where it's not a role that's like super technical, but also you need to understand what is what doing, and you know how to answer questions, then you'll be all right. But I would definitely say you can work on hands-on labs, build a GitHub repository. And also, one of the things that I will say too is just like use apps like Meetup, LinkedIn, network with people so you could really understand what their role is, and tell them that you hungry and you interested in getting inside cyber. And of course, go to the role that you desire, and they'll give you some game too, because you never know. Because sometimes you could talk to somebody and you never know. He might be like a security engineer or even a director, right? And he'd be like, oh, you interested? So what have you been working on so far? Oh, I've been working on some labs and I built this and, etc. Oh, wow. I need a help desk. I need a help desk person, or I need a tier 1 SOC analyst right now, a role. Please feel free to apply, send me your resume. You never know, because there were times where I was in rooms and situations like that happened to me, where people were offering roles, because no matter how many applications come in, nothing ever beats an in-person impression. It's very good to be a personable person, but also have a little bit of knowledge. But I will say too is that don't be just expecting handouts and not actually applying yourself to try to, expect somebody to just hand you something. Show that you actually been putting in the work as well. I know I made a video previously and I was telling people about certifications and I was calling them paper tigers and etc. And a lot of people got offended by that. And I want to make something very clear. I have certifications as well. I probably got almost 10. Right? But the reason why I want to tell people is that don't get certification happy is because I see a lot of times inside this career field that you think that getting so many certifications is going to land you a role. And sometimes that's not the case. I know so many people with so many certifications, but don't know how to answer questions inside of an interview. You don't want to be that person, because it's going to be like, wait, on a resume, you look qualified for a paper, but you don't know the job. You don't want to be that person. So what I will say is that if you get a certification, just get one. Just get one certification, stop. And then work on landing your first role at least. Because there's multiple problems with getting multiple certifications. Number one, when you get multiple certifications like that and you still ain't got no job, guess who got to pay to renew all those certifications? What, your company? How is it going to be your company if you ain't get a job yet, silly? See what I mean? You are jumping the gun. You're jumping ahead too much to where you're not understanding that you could put yourself in a financial hole by trying to have all these certifications. These certifications ain't cheap, trust me. But another thing I'd like to say as well is that, okay, you get a certification. What are some general ones? Well, it all depends exactly what you want to do in cybersecurity, right? If you really just want to be like a SOC analyst or system admin or something, then of course you can do like a security, you can do a security plus, network plus, right? That's usually like the standard. But if you want something more so like hands-on and you want to be a technical person, incident responder, I always say blue team level 1. Blue team level 1 is going to get you there because it's a hands-on certification, because that actually tests your ability and your knowledge to see exactly, can you actually display what you learned inside that course. I've always been a big advocate for hands-on certifications. That's what I've been doing so far. Now, let's say, okay, you got your first role, you got your help desk role. That doesn't mean just stay there. You got your foot in the door, but that's just only the beginning. You still got to go talk to people. And I mean, like, even in your organization, right? Me, I'm not afraid to go talk to people. I'll talk to, even though I'm an incident responder, I'm talking to vulnerability management. I'm talking to the pen testers. I'm talking to the directors. I don't care. My thing is, the worst thing they can say is no. But I want to see, hey, I'm from such and such department. All right, can I see your day-to-day? Can I shadow you? Because a lot of times, even if you know somebody that's in tech, ask them just, hey, can I set up a 30-minute conversation? And you'll be surprised. A lot of them, they'll actually give you game and they won't even charge you or nothing, but like, they'll be like, oh, here's what I do and such. And they'll give great advice. You just have to stop being so scary and stop expecting things to be handed to you. And I know, like, you might be in a situation where things is really tough, right? Because like I said, I started off at McDonald's, bro. Like, I was literally a cashier and we was right off the intersection and I was dealing with all types of customers. I'm telling you, like rude, nasty, mean customers. That didn't stop me. But what I will say is that if you're in that same position right now, you're watching this video, that converts over to cybersecurity. And I'm gonna tell you why. You might not know the technicalities of cybersecurity, right? But here's the beautiful thing. If you've been a cashier at McDonald's, or a floor associate at Walmart or something, right? You know how important customer service is. When you're in cybersecurity, you might not, based off which role you have, you might talk to people more, but I'm telling you, when you on a team, you gotta know how to talk to people. Don't nobody wanna work with somebody that's hard to talk to, because that's just gonna make your job and their job more difficult. And also, when it comes to promotions and all that and etc., they're not going to want to promote you because of, oh, he's a difficult person to work with. So how do I know if I promote him and he work with the other higher ups that he'll be able to talk to them as well? And what about mentoring the people below him? So you gotta, I'm telling you, hone in on your soft skills. The thing is, you'll be very surprised at how whatever job you're doing now translates to something to cybersecurity. I tell people all the time, like, cybersecurity is for everyone. And people be like, oh no, I can't sit on a computer. Listen, cybersecurity is for everyone. Cybersecurity is so broad that based off of your skills, you can hone in and pick something that you actually want. I like figuring out stuff. I like trying to fix puzzles and mysteries and stuff and investigate. When I was a military cop, guess what? I'm doing it from the cyber realm now. And that's exactly what I mean. You don't necessarily have to know even right away what you want. But the problem is that if you don't start, you never know what you'll ever do. So you got to start. That's number one. Let me give you another situation that kind of helped me in the military as well. When I was a cop, when I got my bachelor's degree in cybersecurity and I got my security plus, I thought to myself, I was like, man, like, it'd be nice to have some type of like cybersecurity role, right? I'm getting out soon. I had like 2 years left. But anyways, what I did was I got in good with one of the captains inside the cybersecurity division. And I was just telling him like, hey, is it possible if I could just shadow somebody under your division and da-da-da-da? He was like, yeah, for sure. And very friendly and very like welcoming, right? So I took that, but also due to me having my certifications and my degree, it opened up doors for me. They ended up making a back office position for me where I was at inside my cop division, to where I can grant access, so I can grant access to other cops on their computer within the division, and they made the job up. And guess what? That gave me experience, so when I became a civilian, I was straight. The thing is that everybody's path is going to be different. You may already be inside college right now for cybersecurity, and I'm never going to tell you don't do college or college ain't for everyone. I can tell you, you definitely can get a cyber role without a degree, but it will help in a sense if you do get a degree. And I'm gonna tell you why. When people, a lot of internships nowadays, it's hard to get internships from companies because now companies are requiring you to be an active student for you to get that. But if you just wanted to be like a full-time actually employee at an actual company, then you can skip that internship thing and just, you know what I mean, apply. So let me just give you like a quick blueprint, right? All right, like I said, first one, you can go to the military. You ain't got no experience, just go straight to the military. Go ahead and do your 4 years, get your GI Bill, hop out, Go to cybersecurity inside the civilian world. But also another thing you can do with that when you become a civilian, you can take the same certification and the experience you had in the military, and you can get paid even more by being a government contractor. You can use a website like USA Jobs or Clearance Jobs. Clearance Jobs is really good because majority of the times, if you're working in cybersecurity and military, most of the times you're going to have a security clearance. And what that security clearance is going to do is give you access to different roles. And those are very expensive. I mean, they pay thousands per person to get you a security clearance. The military is going to use you in that contract, so you might as well take advantage of them as well. If they're literally offering to pay you for school and get you a clearance and stuff, why not take advantage of that? No matter what situation you in, I don't care if you at McDonald's, Burger King, whatever, right? Always check out the benefits and see what they can do for you. If they're paying for college or something, some of the best advice I can give you is to try to get the expensive things without paying for the expensive things. All right. Like, even if you look at my profile right now, you'll see SANS certifications all over the place. But you think I paid a dime to go to SANS? Hell no, absolutely not. I refuse. Like, it's like 10,000 per bundle for like the class with the books and everything, and it's virtual. It's not even in person, and it's that expensive, right? So would I would have done it on my own if I had the funds? I mean, if I didn't have the funds, no, I wouldn't take out a loan for it. But if my GI Bill is offering to pay for that, and plus they're giving me money to pay for my mortgage, of course. I mean, I don't leave money on the table. I don't know about you, but I don't leave no money on the table. If they offering to pay for something, then of course I'm all open. All right, let's get to it, and I'll take advantage of that. And that's all I'm just trying to tell you, is that you just need to take advantage of certain situations. If you're really just starting out and you trying to make it and it's struggling and it's hard, I would just say, I'm literally telling you, like, do not give up. I'm telling you, because after becoming a veteran, it was very hard for me to get a role. I literally applied at least 85 times for a role, and all of them said no. That's what I mean when I say that it's not as easy as you think, but also you're gonna have a lot of no's before you get that one yes. You have to keep going. When you're working on your resume or anything, make sure that you leave key details in there. See what the job is actually asking for, because with cybersecurity, I'm gonna be honest, one resume can't fit every role that you're applying for, because every role is requiring different things. Even for a cybersecurity engineer position, everybody uses different tools, so you want to use those keywords to put in there, or see whatever home labs that you built or whatever, how it corresponds to what the actual role that you're applying for. And that's one of the most important things I would definitely say. Say, man, just keep talking to people, because we get so fascinated with trying to be this ultra technical or feel like we got to know everything. I promise you, it's a lot of people who are in higher positions than you, and I guarantee you, once you meet some of them, you'll be like, wow, this person made it. And it's not saying shade or anything, but you'll realize that if they can make it, and based off what you know and how you are as a person, you know for sure that you got hope. So I'm just saying, don't leave any opportunity on the table, man. And don't be that person either. Like, check your ego at the door. That's another thing. Don't be these people who, when you get a IT help desk job or whatever entry-level job you get, and you be like, they're only paying 60,000. Remember where you came from. Remember, I know they say, oh, the average is paying such and such. No, when you're entry level, you're entering inside cybersecurity. Any opportunity is a good opportunity, because it's something that you can put on your resume. And that's how I seen it. When I got out the military, right, I was supposed to get this contractor role. It was supposed to be it was like a cybersecurity engineer position, right? But it was like a level 3, and I had my top secret clearance. Well, it was a top secret clearance needed, but the problem was they were taking too long to process my role. And me being horrible at my finances at the time, I'm like, yo, I need some work. So I ended up applying for another role at a big company, and they had a contractor role open. But here's the thing, what bothered me at first, I'm like, damn, if I would have got that other role, I would have been making more than double than what I'm getting paid as a contractor. That's how bad it was. But I thought about it. I'm like, yo, you was just working at McDonald's. Okay. Check. But you also was working in the military, and if anybody knows about the military, you don't get paid a lot as far as cash, but the benefits pretty much makes up for that. Okay, so it's just like, it's still more than what you had. No matter how you put it, it's still more than what you had. And sometimes we got to check our ego at the door, just be humble, because what I'm starting to realize is that it happened for the right reason. If you are expecting a role that you want and it don't fall through, you have to be okay with that. I'm telling you, because it's going to work out, and you're going to be like, whew, you know, looking back a couple years years from now, I'm kind of glad it ain't worked that way, because I don't know, I don't know if I would have went that other route, how it would have worked. And you got to be okay with that. But also you just got to keep your head up and keep moving forward, because like I said, any opportunity is a good opportunity at the moment, as long as it's cybersecurity, of course. And always take that in consideration. Be humble, but also be a likable person. Being a likable person gets you a long way. I'm telling you, especially when you speak passion into something you really enjoy doing. Don't be those people who feel like they deserve 200K and you just starting out. Accept it. You can always negotiate in the future. My dad used to tell me, because my dad, he's a senior network engineer, right? But he always used to tell me that when I was like, I don't know what to do, Pop, and he used to always tell me, like, you just started this cyber role. You need to get leverage first. Get leverage. If you don't have leverage, what I realized is that if you don't have leverage, you don't have say-so. You don't have say-so, you don't have negotiation skills. The thing is that once you get that amount of leverage, you can renegotiate your salary or the type of career you want or anything. But the first thing is just getting your foot in the door. Then after that, you can do whatever the hell you want. And eventually it pays off and you're thankful and you're like, oh, I'm glad I went this route. And with that being said, like, I know I said my dad was a senior network engineer. I want to be very clear though. I still paved my own way. Like, it wasn't like he called somebody and was like, hey, I got this role for my son. Can you do this? No. What I will say is that I indirectly learned from my dad, right? I would see the way he moved, or some days when I was younger, he used to do network admin roles, and I'll see him connecting routers and switches when I was younger. I would indirectly learn how he would do things, but it always caught my attention. Now, I never grew up and was like, man, I want to do network. I tried it. I knew for a fact it wasn't for me, but all in all, it still worked out for the best. I still was happy that cybersecurity found me. I took some of those lessons that I've learned from the networking aspect and moved them inside the cybersecurity position that I am now, because I have a foundational knowledge of what networking is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, oh, I can configure this switch with this switch. No, like, but that's another lesson within that lesson, is that sometimes you may not know what you want to do, but you will know what you don't want to do. And you have to do that by trying it first. Because if you don't try it, you're not going to know. My wife would tell you, I will try anything when it comes to taking risks, when it comes to jobs wise, right? Even like, doing some type of like physical activity, competition or whatever. Sometimes you really just got to freak yourself out and just do it. And sometimes, you might be in a position you don't want to be in, but you might be scared to leave. Bro, you just got to jump off the building and a parachute will come and save you. I promise you. But you will never know if you keep staying on that building. Stop being scary. I was scared too, trust me. When I didn't find out my role, when that other job fell through, that contractor role, and I was supposed to get it, it made X amount of dollars. Like, I was out here wilding. I remember it was for my birthday. I bought a new SUV and I was just like, man, I'm up. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, my new job falling through anyways. I'm gonna be straight. Like, problem was they didn't even give me a due date, but they had me sign a contract for a non-compete. And I ain't gonna say the company's name or whatever, but I'm over here, I'm balling out of control. I'm just paycheck to paycheck, maxing out credit card. Like, it was bad. And it got to the point where when that roll didn't fall through, you know what I mean? And I didn't have an income from the military anymore. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, well, I'm out of like a house and I can't really like get an apartment, because if I get an apartment, what if I get a role, in Seattle somewhere? Then I'm stuck. So due to my irresponsible actions, I slept in my car for a week. And remind you, I had 2 dogs. Bro, I had 2 dogs. 2 big ass dogs at that. And that wasn't easy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, your whole SUV packed up with like clothes and, TV, everything was just like, it was just cluttered and just packed. And, that was probably like one of the lowest parts of my life, I will say. But I will say from that, I still didn't give up. I still was applying for jobs. You know what I mean? I was using a hotspot on my phone. I was doing interviews in my car, but I set it up to where you didn't know I was in my car, because, I would have I'd put like a temporary backdrop up, blur out my background as much as I can. Like, I was still making things work. There was no excuse for why I didn't get what I wanted. So if I can go through that, there should be no reason why you have a job and you can't transition into cybersecurity. There's ways. The problem is, how much of a sacrifice are you willing to make to get the goals that you want? I'm not saying you got to be bad with money or you got to have a homeless moment for you to actually get what you want. You don't have to do that at all. That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that it's going to take some time out of your day to where you got to dedicate a tremendous amount of time and just show passion and just never stop taking your foot off the gas pedal. Because once you do take your foot off the gas pedal, I'm telling you, it's going, like, you're going to wish that you hadn't done it. And right when you feel like you about to give up, that's when everything happens. I really got more serious, like, within my faith since I've been in cybersecurity, and things have been working out for me, right? Even with my content, of course, I curse a little bit, still silly and everything, but I would definitely say that digging deeper inside your faith and your spirituality and everything, that definitely helps, because it taught me how to be more positive and how to be more grateful for what I have. Of course, no matter what, you get a paycheck, you can be like, man, I wish it could be more and everything. Or, dang, I wish I lived here, or I wish I had this house. And this is just life in general, right? Because at this point, I'm just going on a rant. But what I realize is that if you have a strong faith, regardless of what negative things happen, if you're trying to apply for cybersecurity, etc., it can't stop you for what's destined to happen. But the problem is you have to be consistent. You think, even like, I just hit 800 views. I just hit 800 subscribers on YouTube. That took years, right? I started in like 2020 and I'm still grinding. It's times where it's like shorts and it's only like 50 views, sometimes even 10 views, sometimes even 0. And you got to have that willpower to just keep going. And I only said that to show you some examples that I do, so that way you'll know exactly everything ain't peaches and cream over here either. I wasn't always drinking espressos. Hell, my wife bought me this. Where do you think this came from? You know what I mean? Hey, I was drinking Dunkin' Donuts, bro. Dunkin' Donuts. I don't lattes now, right? Comfort of a house. But that leads me to my last thing I will say. Surround yourself with people that is doing better than you, or in a position that you aspire to be in. I'm telling you, when you're around people that's doing the same thing every day, bad money habits, and worrying about the wrong things, you are indirectly developing those habits. You don't want to be that person. Go ahead, like, just be surrounded. If you want to, even, let's say, okay, Jay, I don't know who to talk to. I'm stuck and da da da. Look, they got meetup.com. It's literally an app for you to even to go to events and meet people. They have tons of networking events. Go on LinkedIn. They literally have tons of events for you to go talk to people and go interact. You know what I mean? Even if it's not related to cybersecurity, go to a bike club or a book club or something. I guarantee you somebody's going to be in tech. And that's how you have to start thinking. Surround yourself with positive people if you want positive results. If you want to stay down in the dumps, not growing, bad with money, living paycheck to paycheck, just stay with negative people. But don't get mad when you keep getting negative results. And that's what I realized. When I'm at work, I surround myself around people who I aspire to be, or who I look up to, or who are motivators to me. And that's what I keep. Like, I keep my circle like that. And I interact with a lot of people and different backgrounds, and I learn so much. But the thing is that their positivity rubs off on me. And so now I'm more motivated to do what I love doing, and doing this content, or whether I'm working on another project, or just networking with other people. But at the end of the day, it still works, and you just got to keep that positivity mindset. And that's pretty much all I want to say for today, man. I know that with this whole roadmap and everything, I'm a little all over the place, but this is kind of like an unorthodox way. This is an unorthodox way that I typically do videos. And that's why I did it today, because I just wanted to give y'all the authentic me and just talk about some of my actual real life scenarios, so that way you can see I'm not perfect as well, and I dealt with some stuff too. And if you need anything as far as advice or anything like that, hit me up on LinkedIn, and I'll put it right in the description. But of course, I'm gonna need y'all to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And you know what? Go ahead, buy me a coffee. Nope, that's promo. We don't do that. But go ahead and buy me a coffee. I'll go ahead and put the link in some of my YouTube and everything. But I really appreciate y'all. And this is a very like joyful moment that I'm here, even in this situation. Like, I was, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, like, was it 2022? Yeah, like mid 2022. Like, bro, I was like sleeping in my car, and it's just like, now I live in a townhouse, and I'm married. I have a happy wife, and dog is healthy. It's a lot of things to be thankful for. So always look back and see what you're thankful for, and think about your situation and be like, wow, what was the worst situation I dealt with? And then you were like, at least I'm not going through that anymore. And if you are going through it, just know that something better is going to happen. But first, you have to change your mindset and the way you want to go about things. So I appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to buy me a coffee. I'm dead serious. Holla.